This week I'm adding some deli meats to my meat and cheese board. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy these are to make. All right, we're going to start by making some turkey breast like logs. And I'm going to do it a little different than I did when we did our cooked roasted turkey, because this is going to be displayed by itself. It needs a little bit different color than a roast turkey. The deli turkey is always a little bit pinker. Usually it's a smoked turkey kind of thing. So we have just about equal parts. I have Sculpey beige and I have original Sculpey. And I am going to mix those two together really thoroughly. It'll give it a little bit of that pinky kind of smoked turkey color. And I am going to do my best to stay under the camera. I've put you out a little bit further up today, zoomed it out a little more. I do have my edges marked, but the problem is what you can see here does not mean you can see it when I lift it straight up. So I'm trying my best here. I would like to get a second camera next year. Hopefully I can afford to do that. So watch videos, check the blog post out, you know, do all those things that help me to make the channel grow and to get and improve it. All right, so here is our finished color, and I am going to mix in some sand. I'm not going to put as much in as we necessarily did on the roast turkey, but I am going to put quite a bit in. What that will do is it will loosen up the texture so that when we slice it, it will have those a little bit more texture showing, a little bit more of those characteristic lines that you might find on a piece of sliced meat. And you see, this is going together really easily. And when you know you've got the minimum amount you want in, when it will break like, whoops, there's a hair in there. I didn't pull my hair up today, so I've got hair in the clay already. Ew, okay. But when it breaks like that and it has that texture, see if the camera can pick up the texture. It kind of crumbles in a break. That's what we want. Now, I am going to roll this out. And I don't know that I'm going to use all of this. I'm going to save part of it. We might use it later. And I'm trying to remember, oh, there's my thing. Get my little drill gauge here so I can have an idea of how big I'm making this. I want to make probably about a 1/4 inch log. Doesn't have to be perfectly even. And then I'm going to push it down so that the top is still rounded, but the bottom is flatter. So it's almost like a D shape in a way. A circle with a flat side. And then I am going to stick this in the, well actually we're going to put chalk on it before we put it in the freezer. I think it'll be better to chalk it now. It is stickier right now, so putting the chalk on it now will probably give us a better result. Not a lot of chalk, just a little. And I'm doing it on my paper plate so I don't make a mess on my tray that I have to clean up. That's a yellow ochre and kind of a red brown. Sticking with the colors you would see on a roasted turkey breast or a smoked turkey breast from the deli. Whoopsie. Come on. So get that first, that yellow ochre color on pretty well, pretty evenly, and then take the kind of reddish brown color and just roughly put that on. All right, now that needs to move in the freezer for probably about 15 minutes so that we can slice it and not distort the shape. So when that has been frozen for a while, I'll come back and we'll try slicing it. All right, this has sat in the freezer for a full 15 minutes, so now it is firm enough that when we slice it, we don't flatten it out anymore. Now you've got several choices. You can leave your pieces just flat. You could roll them. I'll show you both. Depending on what your final destination for your pieces of sliced turkey are going to be. If you're making a meat and cheese board like I am, you might want to roll some of your meats and some of them lay flat, you know, kind of fanned out. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways to display each of the meats we make today. And I'm trying to cut these as thin as I want, as thin as I can rather. That's kind of my goal. Almost paper thin. That one got maybe a little too thin. Get my glasses on so I can actually see what I'm doing. Trying to get my head in here where I can see and not get my hair or my head in the camera. Hopefully I'm doing that. Hopefully I'm successful at this. All right, let's start with that many. And also, I am going to keep some of the canes of these not baked. I'm going to keep them raw, and I'm going to put them in a safe, polymer clay safe container so that when I go to make something in the future, I'll already have those. Now, we could just bake them individually, which is a really easy way to do. You just lay them out in a single layer on your tray, on your baking surface. I'm using a paper plate like usual. Is this one 1 or 2? That one's 1. It's really thick. We could also take a toothpick and a pretty thin slice. Let's see if I can do this under camera and not mess it up. And kind of roll like that. And you could have some like that. And then those could be displayed on your meat and cheese board. So I'm only going to display, and you could also, I'm going to do 2 like that, and I would just roll it up around your toothpick. The toothpick will keep it from collapsing while you're rolling it. The other thing you can do is you could lay them out, and I don't know that these are actually going to stick together since they have so much sand in them. They might not. The majority of mine I'm just going to leave out like that. That way I can, when I get ready to display them on my cutting board, I will be able to put them the way I want them. And the majority of the cane I'll just leave like this so that when I get ready to use it, I can cut it. I can use this to make sandwiches for the dollhouse. I can use it to make the cheese board. I can do so many things with this piece. So that's going to set off to the side. Let's get set up and make another kind of meat for our cheese board. All right, for the next couple of kinds of meats, we are going to be making some basic clay mixtures before we start making them, and then we're going to use those in a couple of different ways. So what I have here, 2 parts translucent to 1 part white clay, and these happen to both be Sculpey 3 because that's what I got a good deal on a big package of. So off camera I am going to get these completely mixed together. When they are completely mixed, I'll come back and we'll work on our next color combination. All right, so I have that piece of clay mixed together, and that's one of the pieces we're going to use a couple of times. So let's set this off to the side in a safe place, and let's get ready to mix the next color. All right, here I have just a really small amount of 2 different colors. This one over here is Sculpey 3 in, I think it's terracotta. It looks like what the package used to say. It's kind of a reddish, rusty brown color is what you're looking for. And then this one is a Fimo red. And since that's a Fimo classic red, I'll probably have to turn the camera off and get these blended together because they're not going to play nice. And when I get this all smoothly blended, I'll come back and we'll do our next step with this mixture. All right, here's the color I came up with. I think this will be really good once it's lightened up a bit. So now I'm going to very carefully, hopefully without getting red all over my mixture I mixed a little while ago. I want to start with approximately equal parts. I want to see how much that knocks the color down, because I want to make this quite a bit paler, plus add a little translucency to it. Right, I like this for a small part of the salami, so I am going to pull off probably about that much of it. Now, I'm going to cut more of this translucent white mixture, approximately the same amount as I've got here. So it'll be a little bit more than 2 parts of the white translucent mix to the meaty color mix that I guess we'll call it. Alright, that's got a good mix to it. So I'm going to take about half of that and put it off to the side. These 2 are going to be kept for our salami. Now for this one, I'm going to take that same beige that I had earlier, and I want to add just a little bit of beige. Let me quickly take a picture of this since there. Just wanted to quickly get a picture of that for the blog. That way you guys can kind of get a visual of how much I'm adding. And this will then become our ham. All right, now, that's still not mixed. That's still got quite a bit of beige in there. Doesn't now? Let's get some cornstarch out on my tray without knocking anything down. And again, I am trying to replicate the type of ham you would find in the deli, not necessarily a ham you might, buy whole and roast off. They look a little different. There. Now, I'm going to take just a tiny bit of this. And I want to take little bits. I rolled that out just as thin as I could over here on my tray. It's okay if this isn't mixed completely evenly. That's fine. And that's probably all I want to put in here. Kind of spread that around. Scrape that off my tray. And this clay, because of the high content of Sculpey products in it, it is pretty soft and sticky. And I'm not trying to get that mixed in, I'm trying to leave little veins of it. Now I'm going to roll this out probably about just a little more than 1/4 inch probably. I think I'll only do about half of this right now. I can always label the unfinished part and put it in my clay stash. Well, that's a little bit bigger than our turkey was. And once again, I'm not quite that small. That's a little smaller than I want. Let's cut our ham closer to, roll it closer, a little bit closer to 3/8 of an inch. So I am going to flatten one side again. I am going to put it back onto a paper plate. And once again, I want to brush the outside with a little bit of chalk, just to give it that look that it's been roasted off or smoked. It won't show up as much on this one, but it will show up some. All right, now this one needs to go in the freezer also for 15 minutes. And when that's done, I'll come back and we'll slice it. All right, this had 15 minutes in my freezer. So now we are going to cut it with a nice sharp knife. I'm thinking I'm going to have to get a new clay knife pretty soon because this one is getting dull, I'm afraid. That was a little too thin. This one might have a little more scalpy in it than the other or something. This one's a little softer, but once again we've got nice slices. They've got that, just barely have that little brownish ring around it like they've been smoked. Oh, that looks so good. It's almost lunchtime while I'm filming this and I'm getting hungry. And once again, you can leave these out flat. You could kind of put them in, you just lay them out kind of fanned out, or you could wrap them around the toothpick. See if I can do this. Trying to do this so that you guys can see it and I can see it is always challenging. But there we go. Isn't that cute? All right, I'm going to move these onto my baking surface. And again, I'm going to keep this piece for slicing when I'm ready to make displays. So let's move on to making some salami. All right, now we're going to make some salami. And for that, I have the white and translucent we mixed up this morning. This is some from my stash. It's equal parts of white and translucent, and then our 2 colors of meat colors that we made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of push these down on my tray. And we're going to chop it when we want pretty small little chunks. Kind of scoop it up from time to time and kind of put it over itself. Kind of pull it apart, get the pieces kind of mixed together. The idea here is to chop and mix, but don't be pressing it yet. I want a little more of the dark meat mixture and a little more of the light meat mixture. Maybe maybe a little more. Just keep chopping and folding until you see your colors are pretty well combined. You don't want to mix your colors. The idea here is we're keeping very much separate colors. All right, now we're going to carefully gather this up. I'm not going to knead it together. I'm just going to press it. Now you could coat this in white if you wanted to. I'm not going to, because the salami I see in my grocery stores or in the deli doesn't have the white coating on it like I see sometimes in pictures of delis from other places. Now I want to get this down to just under 1/4 inch. Yes, I'm making each type of meat a different diameter, so they look a little different. We want a little variety on our cheese board. Let's see where we're at. Yep, that's good. Let's see, where is it? It looks like it's about 13/16 if you want to have an exact size. So now, I bet you can guess what we're going to do next. We're going to put some chalk on the outside of this, and I want to kind of match that pinkish red color. I think I can use this one. I don't want to have, I just want to make it look like it's got a dark outside. Like I said, you could use white, but I don't see that in my delis. When I buy salami, I see it with a darker outside. This is kind of a reddish, dark reddish brown kind of color. And this one you want to keep it round, and you want to go all the way around with our color. So now, I bet you can guess what I'm going to say next. We're going to put this in the freezer for right around 15 minutes to get it nice and solid so that we can cut it without flattening it. So I'll be right back when this is solid. All right, this has been in my freezer for a very, very long time because it's remaining very soft, and even rolling it, I could not slice it. There we go, now I can. So you can see this has a lot of detail. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. There will be pictures on the blog post. Then I'm going to quickly slice a few of these. It's still trying to. It's the amount of translucent that I've got in here. It's softening it a lot. If that happens to you, simply lay it down and kind of re-round it. It'll be fine. So I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to slice this up. I am going to put it on my paper plate and get it baked. And when it's all baked, I'll come back and we'll look at how this looks all finished. All right, I've got our deli meats all baked and cooled, and now they're ready to put into a display. I can't wait to build my meat and cheese board. It's getting a little more onto it every week. If you enjoyed today's project, hit the like button, leave me a comment. If you enjoy watching my videos and haven't subscribed, why don't you hit that subscription button and the notification bell so YouTube can tell you when I put up a new video. Check the blog post in the Facebook group for more details, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.